It started with a hushed phone conversation in the dark of night. Erica Mena's voice cracked as she recalled yet another argument with her husband, Mendeecees Harris. Rumors had already floated around his secret troubles. But now Erica believes his drug addiction and unlawful trading have drove a dagger through his family's heart. Insiders say she uncovered concealed stashes of pills in his trailer, strange financial payments via unknown accounts and coded communications, organizing late-night drop-offs. Fans are outraged, emotions ran high, and the family was left split when Erica resorted to social media to disclose her proof in a tear-stained live broadcast. Production personnel on Love and Hip Hop allegedly suspended shooting as news spread of Erica's startling charges. Smith was seen racing into important meetings demanding evidence and answers, colleagues whispering in costume trailers about confrontations they never recorded, heated voices ringing down ghostly halls. Now, with Erica's startling admission, the issue on everyone's mind is simple. Is Mendeecees covertly selling relief for profit, or is his wife spinning, as supporters waited to see whether the guy they cheered for would collapse under controversy, or emerge with his reputation unscathed the morning after Erica's? The atmosphere on the lot seemed like a war zone, with lights standing idle, cameras idling, and coffee carts abandoned as staff gathered in groups. Whispers of covert deliveries and hidden pill stashes rang through the halls. One assistant producer, eyes wide, revealed she had seen Mendeecees leave his trailer before daybreak with a small bag. "I thought it was makeup," she acknowledged, voice shaking. "Then I saw the pills." Fans are stunned. Emotions ran wild. Erica Z. claims extended a long shadow over every set wall, leaving the family split. She paced in her own trailer, her phone screen flashing with messages from friends, family, and network officials. Yandy texted, "We need to confront him now." Erica answered with a voice, she barely audible in the tape she subsequently uploaded. "I can't keep pretending this isn't destroying us." Chose to disclose the messages she'd covertly recorded. Late-night conversations in which Mendeecees pleaded for more supply, stating he couldn't sleep without it. The revelation of those tapes sent social media ablaze, transforming private anguish. Moments later, Yandy ambushed Mendeecees in the makeup trailer, her voice shaking as she scolded him. "You claimed you were in recovery." He slumped to the floor, head in his hands. "I'm sorry," he mumbled, tears mixing with the words. "Fluorescent light. I thought I had it under control." Erica's voiceover in the leaked tape sliced through the tension management when you almost wrecked our. Her comments fell like blows, and the genuine rage in her tone exposed the depth of her anguish. Production executives rushed in calling. "An emergency stop," one seasoned producer groaned. "We can't film while this unfolds." Networks made carefully prepared comments about supporting cast welfare and reviewing the charges. Meanwhile, newspapers jumped on reality TV star turned drug lord, shouted one headline family in trouble, another with a story of betrayal claiming Erica. Acting out of envy, the contradicting stories further increased the commotion, leaving spectators unclear whom to trust among the Harris family siblings assembled. In hushed circles features lined with anxiety, his mother cried softly in the kitchen, holding a framed picture of Mendeecees smiling with his children. "I don't want to believe it," she wept. His brother banged the table, voice taut. "We need facts, not hearsay." Erica's father was quiet till then, a soothing hand on his daughter's shoulder. "We stand by you, dear," he whispered, even as worry flared in his eyes. Family unity fractured under the weight of suspicion. Late-night chat programs turned the controversy into must-see. TV legal experts studied the encrypted texts Erica had uploaded. Addiction counselors weighed in on the indicators of dependence. One therapist cautioned, "Addiction thrives in secrecy." Another criticized the public exposure. This might jeopardize their prospects of rehabilitation. Viewers questioned whether Erica's disclosure was a necessary intervention or callous exploitation, while commentators fueled the flames. In a startling twist, a former cast member surfaced with additional accusations, that he had witnessed Mendeecees talking with a guy in a hoodie below the stage entrance. "I thought they were shooting a scene," he stated. Turns out it was genuine. Security files subsequently revealed unidentifiable visitors after curfew when questioned. The network claimed film production overruns, but the time matched Erica's text records. The midnight drop-off texts she'd uncovered the confluence of tales and formed a fascinating narrative of unlawful. Meanwhile, Mendeecees gone into isolation, and camera flashes spotted him leaving a treatment institution, hood down low admirers. "Was this relapse treatment or a PR move?" one admirer remarked. Instagram, "He's poisoning himself in the show." Another retorted, "Give him compassion, addiction is a sickness." The internet discussion reflected the beginning tension. Mendeecees denied coordinating any distribution network in a leaked video, speaking quietly. Onto his phone. "I only ever sold my medicines to aid friends who were suffering," Erica answered in her next live broadcast rage, sparking her words pals you'd offer. Taking them away at midnight in parking garages is not treatment, it's trafficking. The conflict is played out live, revealing raw emotion and chords deeper than legal peril. The violation of trust between husband and wife family friends came forward, presenting contradicting testimonies, one of whom claimed Mendeecees had confessed to delivering drugs to a boyhood buddy, thinking he was assisting another admitted to getting pills and selling them for profit. The dueling narratives intertwined reality like a web. The clan met for a family intervention that Erica prepared, calling for complete openness. Mendeecees broke down in tears. "I'm lost," he wept. "I don't know who I am anymore." His confession provided no obvious solutions. Production now faced tough choices. Should they record the intervention for a special episode? Could they mix authenticity with the dignity of real? People in Crises notes spread about an honest service arc, but sponsors recoiled. One big brand halted their support, claiming concerned about brand safety. The network surreptitiously developed an alternate season centered on other cast members' tales. The situation had become too poisonous to outside the studio gates. Fans staged prayer vigils and online petitions, some of which begged for Erica to drop charges. Others encouraged law enforcement to investigate the suspected trafficking of the Mendeecees family, a portion of which trended darkly, showing the intense grief. A vigil at the studio door attracted hundreds of lights burning as murmurs of hope and terror mixed. Erica was fatigued, yet unbowed delivered a farewell interview to a late-night site. "I never meant to harm him. I love him, and my children need protection." Her fragility resonated with many, while detractors pounced on her tear-stained face as proof of theatrics. "It's reality TV, not reality," one remark read. The split between empathy and skepticism cut deeper than any storyline. As night came on those first difficult days, the Harris household seemed half empty. In a guest room door closed, seeking refuge and stillness, Erica sat in the living room, shoulders bowed, reading through messages of support and disdain. The weight of her choice pushed on her bones. She'd chosen truth over peace. But at what cost? The family was split, mother and father stuck between devotion to their son and belief in their daughter. Production ultimately published a short statement pledging to help Erica and Mendeecees through this tough period and assure the safety and well-being of our actors. But underneath the polished words lie cloudy questions: would cameras ever film? Actual recovery? Or would the next controversy overshadow this one? Fans needing resolution readied for Part 2 when the drugs investigation would deepen, alliances would alter, and family relationships would be challenged like never before. The morning following Erica's live broadcast, the studio lot was strangely still, and soundstages stood dark. When camera crews had disappeared overnight, stories of secret drug swaps and midnight drop-offs rang down empty halls. Producers faced furious letters from sponsors seeking answers. Inside a conference room, network executives debated whether to continue recording or stop everything. "We built our program on drama," one producer remarked, voice shaking. But this is real life and too hazardous to ignore. Erica met with a senior private investigator in her trailer and put out data that showed Mendeece's GPS pings placed him in vacant garages at 2 a.m. M-Bank transfers to untraceable accounts, mails with code names for shipments. Her hands trembled. As she followed each line on the spreadsheet, "It all connects," she gently murmured. "My husband is running a ring and it's killing us." Her voice crackled with anguish, but her determination remained unwavering. Friends nodded, resolved to assist her in exposing the real truth. Yandy Smith endured her own trauma in a nearby rehab center. Cameras swarmed as she arrived to support Men's after last week's overdose. When she approached the door with the phone in hand, reporters yelled, "Yandy, do you still trust in him?" She stopped, eyes filling with tears. "I believe in rehabilitation," she responded, her voice firmer than anticipated. "But I need first." Her remark spread over social media, generating intense disputes about whether she was standing by a monster or a guy in trouble. Back on the set, castmates met. In tiny huddles 1. A stylist reported to seeing unlabeled pill bottles in Mendeecees' trailer garbage and assuming they were medications, while another coworker remembered a mystery visitor passing him a brown packet. During shooting, the Y duo's murmurs grew like wildfire because they overlooked indicators of unlawful transactions for the sake of viewers. Trust vanished as relationships evolved, with some supporting with Erica's appeal for intervention and others warning of knee-jerk betrayal. Mendeecees went to a friend's apartment under strong protection. When photographers saw him going through a back door with his hood down low, many debated if he was running from Erica's fury or federal authorities. Video leaks purported to show him meeting with 2 mysterious persons, hands exchanging cash and little parcels. The authenticity was unconfirmed, but when newspapers published footage looped with dramatic music, the harm was done. Public opinion teetered between pity for a guy facing addiction and indignation at a suspected trafficker within Mendeecees' downtown law office. Lawyers reviewed over information Erica's staff had provided over to federal officials, looking for anomalies in transfer. Amounts rounding suspiciously geolocated records replicating known studio commutes and communication timestamps. Conflicting with phone records, their plan emerged: undermine the legitimacy of the evidence, uncover breaches in the chain of custody, and identify probable framed by opposing cast members resentful of Mendeecees' reappearance. Lead counsel Jasmine Rodriguez leaned back, penetrating, "We'll prove this is smoke and mirrors." But at private family meetings, the Harris clan grappled with shock and uncertainty. Mendeecees' mother, previously unshakable in conviction, now sat silently in a corner. Trembling as she scanned through social media, his sister's voice sharply turned to the others. "We can't ignore these allegations, but we also can't abandon him." A relative claimed that Erica's public exposure risked pulling Mendeecees farther into darkness and the family's togetherness. Strained under the weight of conflicted loyalties and dread, late-night talk show panelists grasped the narrative. Addiction specialists underlined the need for empathy and therapy over criticism. Legal experts warned of the hazards of hasty judgments without due process. Addiction thrives on secrets, according to one psychotherapist, but exposing someone publicly may harm rehabilitation. Another presenter said, "If the evidence stands, we cannot justify trafficking under the pretense of disease." Millions of viewers tuned in to see the clash of personal tragedy and legal intrigue amid the frenzy of a former partner of Mendeecees come forward in a clandestine interview and claim to have observed money swaps in dark alleyways supervised by a guy matching Mendeecees' description. His voice unsteady, he recounted code names like as Alpha Drop and cleanup detractors questioned his intentions, dubbing him a bitter ex-friend out for vengeance. Supporters disputed his testimony, verified Erica's screenshots. The contradicting claims compounded the mystery and split fans more. Meanwhile, Erica's representative fought with major news sites to give her the first Sci-Town interview since her claims she prepared for inquiries about motivation, proof, and possible remorse in private. Erica rehearsed her replies. "I spoke forward to rescue my family," she would say, "I hope. Menace receives the therapy he needs, but I'll fight to safeguard our children." The network saw opportunity and dangled. Promises of primetime coverage. Delicately mixing sensationalism, the production execs conducted crisis meetings to retool the season's plot. Whether they portray the incident as a redemption arc or shift to other cast members, a draft blueprint proposes 3-part special detailing the operation: Erica's quest for truth and men. DC's path to healing, if he came from hiding sponsors, balked at the idea of benefiting off addiction, requiring clearer wellness rules before production started. The network's public relations staff established new guidelines for cast assistance. Outside on the iLot, fans stayed overnight expecting to get a peek of cast arrivals. Some hoisted banners saying, "Seek truth, not ratings." While some called for Mendeecees' return, campfires glowed beneath portable heat lamps as supporters exchanged thoughts and hoped for resolution. The community's bedside vigil represented a wider thirst for honesty and responsibility in reality. Television. As the sun dawned on the second day of this developing story, federal investigators affirmed that people should rise from adversity rather than be crushed by it. They had begun a formal probe into the suspected distribution network. Subpoenas were delivered to key cast and crew, including producers and personal aides. Investigators sorted set, including financial records and messaging backups. Each subpoenaed person had the alternative of cooperating and risking disclosing private information or resisting and facing contempt charges. The stakes had never been greater, not only for male DCs, but for anybody connected in the scandal. In a final twist, an anonymous tip led investigators to a distant storage facility. The discovery of unmarked containers, some branded with street slang for drugs, spurred a fresh wave of arrests and broadened the investigation beyond Mendeecees to alleged co-conspirators. The following morning, publications splashed the headline, "Ring Exposed," claiming that Erica's bravery may have discovered a broader criminal organization lying under the gloss of reality television. As the inquiry expanded its scope, Erica prepared for the important step verifying her testimony in court and facing the full brunt of criticism. The world was split between indignation and pity, scandal and atonement. The narrative promised future discoveries, legal fights, and maybe the opportunity for healing. If truth could triumph over falsehood and genuine lives survived the glare. The morning following Erica's live broadcast, the studio lot sat in a peculiar calm. Empty coffee carts and inactive cameras hinted to the production freeze that had been imposed overnight. Secret drug stashes and midnight drop-offs plagued the hallways as producers struggled to contain the repercussions. 3 executives battled angrily in a conference room nestled behind staging. Whether to cancel the remainder of the season or shift toward addiction awareness, special sponsors requested promises of cast well-being and data security. They could no longer merely seek ratings without securing actual people. A senior publicist sat at an emergency meeting in her trailer, surrounded by a small crew of close supporters. Alongside her laptop showing bank accounts with strange deposits and credit card purchases linked to the remote warehouses, a retired investigator described GPS records indicating Mendeecees' SUV at industrial areas were empty around 3 a.m. Acrylic sheets carried printed messages. From his phone code, terms like package and drop point are highlighted in neon. Red Erica's voice cracked as she pointed to the timeline. "This isn't simply addiction," she says. "He's running shipments." Yandy arrived seconds later in the lot, her typical grace replaced with honest anxiety. As she got from her vehicle, paparazzi vans ringed the perimeter. Reporters crowded, shrieking. Inquiries about her husband's suspected transactions, she hushed them with a single comment. "I support his recuperation, but stand with my buddy in finding the truth." Co-workers discreetly observed the interaction, questioning if she was aligning. With Erica's cause or defending personal interests in network decision-making, backstage castmates clustered in little clusters of fear. One stylist revealed she had spotted unmarked pill vials tossed in a cosmetic trash bin days before. Another, background actor, remembered seeing Mendeecees emerging from a service elevator with a brown plastic bag, presuming it included food props. Those moments seemed laden. Friendships were disrupted as some allies gave loud support for Erica's fearlessness, while others worried the controversy would harm their jobs and insisted on waiting until official. In the meanwhile, Mendeecees was in isolation at a private rehabilitation center under a court order. His counsel had allowed for a solitary family visit in a quiet. Yandy gently put a touch on his arm. "We're here for you no matter what." He nodded, eyes downcast. "I want to make this right," he said, "but I'm frightened about what happens next." Their somber discussion leaked to rumor. Aside from the public spectacle outside the Lot fan sites, the blog revealed another spooky depth of personal anguish. Hummed with passionate conversation hashtags like Chad Turthus's family, apart and seek. The righteous trended, revealing a fragmented audience response. Videos arose, and some viewers applauded Erica's fortitude to disclose the truth. Others chastised her for spreading dirty linen. Conspiracy channels scrutinized every detail. From Mendeecees SUV type to the dirt in the mutual friends came on podcasts to rebut or support allegations. With each guest appearing to, in the Harris home, stress boiled over because they knew just enough to enhance the mystery. Mendeecees' mother was shocked by the claims and faced his brothers at a closed-door family meeting. Voices flared as they questioned if they had overlooked warning flags late. Night texts, inexplicable absences, and suspected debts. His father, a veteran police captain, thought that prudence was important, but mother sobbed. "If you loved him, you would stand with our daughter by pursuing proof." The confrontation echoed the larger federal agents' devotion to family versus pursuit of justice. Conducted a pre-dawn raid on a storage facility associated to Mendeecees' firm. Tactical.